Well, tonight's High Five Athlete of the Week excels in the sport of wrestling, and what sets this athlete apart isn't so much his record as it is his determination. David Benny is a junior at Willowbrook High School, wrestling at 103 pounds, and he is blind. But that hasn't stopped him from compiling a 16-14 record in just his first year in the varsity. Benny knows he has to work harder than most, but that's what attracted him to wrestling in the first place.
My freshman year, I was looking for something to kind of test my athletic ability and kind of help me compete where I'd be on the same level with the rest of my peers. And it looked like wrestling was the one sport where I'd be able to kind of use my athletic ability in a positive way, and it would really help me, you know, kind of release some of that competitive fire.
And we'll have a more in-depth look at David's stories this weekend on Sports Sunday. One sad note to... Hi again, everyone. I'm Mike Adamle, joined by Mark Schanowski. You know, one of the things that we've enjoyed here at NBC5 are our weekly profiles on those high school athletes who distinguish themselves in their particular sport. But Mark, every once in a while we meet someone whose story is about more than points scored or awards won.
We've met so many talented athletes in the Chicago area, but this is really a special story coming up because all too often talented athletes just take their ability for granted. They fail to appreciate the simple joys of just being able to compete. There are also stories of tremendous courage and determination, young people willing to battle almost any obstacle just to get a chance. Tonight, we'd like you to meet one of those special athletes, Willowbrook wrestler David Benny. At first glance, David Benny looks like any other high school wrestler, struggling to find an edge in this physically demanding sport. But for David, using the right technique is even more important because David is blind.
When I first came out, I mean, everybody else on my team could basically see the demonstrations and see what they were supposed to do. And for me, I kind of had to feel my way out and kind of ask my teammates, you know, am I doing this right? Am I doing that right?
I tend to demonstrate the moves on him so he can feel them. He can't watch me do it, so he can only hear me explain it. So if I make him feel me doing it to him, it helps him a little bit.
Opposing wrestlers must keep physical contact with David at all times. But aside from that concession, it's just normal wrestling. David has a 16-14 record in his first season with the varsity at 103 pounds. So his opponents know he means business.
One of my biggest satisfactions is when a guy goes out there, you know, and sees, okay, this is a blind wrestler, and thinks, you know, he's going to have an easy time of it, and then he has to go and explain to his teammates why he lost.
What do his opponents think after they've wrestled with him and lost?
Honestly, it's like, I just lost to a blind guy. I mean, they don't want to say it or anything, but that's sort of what you can see on their faces.
David says he hopes to qualify for sectionals this year and maybe make it to state next season as a senior. But he's already shown how just about any obstacle can be overcome with determination and a burning desire to compete.
He's better than you'd think he is. Like, he's pretty fast, and like, he won't give up, like, no matter how hard you try.
Just because you have an impairment, just because you don't have all 5 of your senses, I guess, intact, you can still go out and do the things that everybody else does.
Just an amazing young man. I asked him about his future. He says he doesn't know about wrestling, but he knows he wants to get into broadcasting, maybe a sports talk radio host. I wouldn't bet against him.
Well, I'll tell you what, you use your contacts, I'll use mine, and we'll get this kid a job.
He'll be a success no matter what he does.
That's our mission. Well, that's it for this edition of Sports Sunday. For Mark and all of us here at NBC5, I'm Mike Adamle. Thanks for joining us. See you next week, everyone.